We have breaking news right off the top. This noon, firefighters are at a large fire at Fox Pools on Alpine Avenue north of Grand Rapids. We've been live on this story for the past hour and a half. It has forced officials to shut down the southbound lanes of Alpine Avenue at 8 Mile Road. We do have team coverage for you this noon, starting with 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFurgey, who's live on the scene. Joe?
Sue, I want to show you the fire. It's still burning at this hour. Take a look. Heavy smoke coming out of the Fox Pools building. But I want you to look at something else. Take a look at these fire hoses here laying on the ground. No water in them. They are not putting water on this fire, and we're going to go to a couple of experts to talk about that right now. Chief Dave Klompens with the Alpine Township Fire Department, Bart Perry of the Grand Rapids City Fire Department. Gentlemen, right now, no water on this fire.
That's correct. With the type of chemicals that were in the building and the amount of chemicals they had, we stopped the suppression operations basically because we were concerned about water runoff conditions, and with the local environment, with the crops, we didn't want to possibly contaminate any of the fields at all with water runoff.
So it's better to just let those chemicals burn up and not be concerned with water.
Yes, that's correct. You know, the building was considered to be a loss at that time, and so our best objective at that time was to make sure we preserve the fields, and so we made a decision to not put any more water on it.
Chief Perry, your people were called in from the city of Grand Rapids with some hazmat expertise. When we got here, this thing was really burning, and the first thing I thought, chemicals inside, you might have to evacuate.
Yeah, our concerns were it's pool chemical storage, if you will, bromine, chloride, or chlorine, and muriatic acid. You know, being that everybody in the area, the rural area, is on well water, we didn't want to contaminate the aquifer. There's many farmers around here with crops, apples, cherries, and whatnot. And so I think Alpine Township made a very good decision early on in this fire and not applying water to it, and just allowing the building to burn and allowing the chemicals to be burned off into more basic substances, if you will, less hazardous.
And the wind helped?
Exactly. The wind's in our favor today, and no downwind drift into any residential areas, so we really don't have what we normally would have at a large city fire, if you would, as far as the evacuation zones.
All right. Thanks for joining us this noon hour, Chiefs. And you can see it is still burning here, burning heavy. And again, the roof is in. When that caved in, you can see a lot of fire coming out. Now, right now, joining me is my colleague, Danny Carlson. Danny, you were out here on the scene as well, and you talked to a couple of people who were actually inside that building when the fire started.
Yeah, there were 4 employees who were inside when this fire started, Joe, and one of them was actually the granddaughter of the founder of Fox Pools, who started this company 40 years ago in his garage. Now, we are told that the employees who were inside went to the back. Someone went to the back, saw smoke, smelled smoke, knew immediately that they had to just evacuate this building because they knew that there were so many chemicals inside. They just needed to get out, and it's a good thing that they did, because within 5 to 10 minutes, this is what the building looked like. And you could hear from the fire department that they knew exactly what chemicals were inside. That's because the employees knew that they had to write down a list of everything that the fire department would be dealing with, so they knew how to handle this fire situation. And as you heard from Joe, people from fire departments around the area say it's a good thing that the Alpine Fire Department did not put water on this fire because of all of those chemicals and what those chemicals in the water could have done to the runoff. Now, we plan to stay here on this story for the rest of the day, Joe and I, and we will bring you updates at 24-hour News 8 at 5 and 6 and let you know how this situation turns out. For now, live in Alpine Township, Danny Carlson, 24-hour News 8.
Hey, Danny, thank you. Letting that fire burn out. We want to go to Brett Thomas now. He's at the live desk. Brett, what do you know about Fox Pools?
Well, Sue, as Danny was talking about here, this is a long-time Alpine Township business. According to their own website, it's a Son establishment. They've been making pools for more than 40 years now. Also on their website, we found a number of pictures of the interior of that building before the fire. Here's a look at some of those. You can see one of the reasons that Joe was talking about the fire is so difficult to deal with here and considered a hazmat situation. There are a lot of chemicals inside that building, the kind of chemicals you need to maintain a pool or a hot tub in addition to building one. Now here's a look at their Facebook page with some examples of the kinds of pools they build. According to public records, it's owned by George and Michael Fox, who say they are not affiliated with any other Fox businesses in town. They say they do in-ground, above-ground, and hot tub work. They also maintain open and closed pools. Of course, we'll continue to look into the business and the owners here throughout the day, but fortunately, nobody hurt in this situation. I'll send it back to you, Sue.